Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, we'll be cutting and drafting the Victorian corset, also known as overbust corset. In our last class, we were able to draft out the patterns, and these are the patterns we got from our last class. So in today's tutorial, we'll be cutting it out, and to be the cutting and sewing of the Victorian corset. So this is our pattern that we'll be using. If you've not seen the video of the last class, the link will be in the description box, so you can click the link to follow up on the drafting of the Victorian corset. So these are basically the materials we'll be using. I'll be using a black crepe fabric as my main fabric, and this is the hairstay I'll be using as my interface. This is the bridal satin I'll be using as the lining, and for the yoke I'll be using this net material. So you need your bra cord, and you need plastic and sewable boning. You need your plastic and your sewable boning. So these are basic things we are going to do. So now let's cut it on the fabric. So here I've placed it on the fabric like this. This is the front pieces and this is the back pieces. The fabric is on fold. The fabric is on fold. So I'm going to add the necessary allowances to these down parts. I'll just add 0.5 allowance for joining, for turning in, 0.5 round following the shape. It is very, very important that your allowance is accurate, so you add your 0.5 inch allowance around each of these piece. Okay, so here I have joined the panels. I've cut out the fabric, I've pressed in my interfacing, and I've joined the pieces together. It's the print that is making it look like this. So I'll take it to my sewing machine and join the side. So let me quickly explain this. Now we are doing a waist cinching effect. Now you can't see from the camera, but I notched the waistline. When you are joining together, you must make sure that the waistline aligned together all around. It is very, very important that all your waistline are together, so as to get the perfect cinching effect. So once I'm done sewing, I will give it a good press, then I'll bring it back to see. So now I've joined all the sides together, the front and the back side. The only one I've not joined is the one that is going to carry the grommet back. So I've not joined that, but all other the sides same. I've joined to the back and the front. I've joined together. Now you can see that the bust area is coming out fine already. So the next thing we're going to do now is we are going to turn all these our sewing allowances, we are going to turn it into our bony channel. So we're going to top stitch this down neatly. So it depends on how good you have. You can sew it on the right side or you can sew it on the wrong side. Just make sure you stitch it down neatly. That's your boning. We're going to use a plastic boning. So this is the boning I'm using. So you understitch it very well so that your boning will be able to go in through freely. So I will do that now and I'll show you how. Okay, so I've top stitched this the boning channel. So you just make sure that whatever you top stitch is looking neat and it's not rough. So this is what I got after top stitching. So the next thing we are going to do now is we're going to add our yoke to the dress. So the yoke is going to be like a stop for the boning. So it's after we join the yoke and everything before we insert our boning, so that the boning will not be able to get out, and so our half-inch allowance we sew with the yoke will be like a stopper for it. So this is my yoke. I've cut it out. I will join for the back, for the front, and also this is the back yoke. We're going to turn it, and going to join it together. I finished the neckline with bias, so I'm going to sew it and bring it back. Okay, so I've joined the yoke to it. The next thing we are going to do now is we want to secure this waistline, the cinching line, so that sometimes your fabric might expand or something like that. So we're going to use a gross grain ribbon. I think they call it in the market, some people call it Peter Pan. I don't know what else they call it in your area, but this is a gross grain ribbon or a fashion ribbon, whatever. So we have in different sizes. This is a 1-inch size. We have for 1.5 inch. That one also we can use it. So now don't forget, when we are joining together, I notched the waist area so as to know where the waistline is. So this is the waist area that I notched, and I've marked it out with my pen, my chalk. So this is the waist area. So we are going to be sewing this gross grain ribbon on the waist area. What we're going to do now is you just measure out what you have on the waistline. Now here I have 28 inches. I have 28 inches here. Then I'm going to measure it on the gross grain line and cut it out. Okay, so after cutting it out like this, this is what we're going to pin it down and sew it through on the marked area. So now you see I've pressed this into 2 equal sides. So half of the ribbon will be on one side and half will be on the other side. So this line at the center is going to be on the marked area here. So we're going to carefully pin it down like this. So just make sure that it's aligned very well. So pin it down like so. You just make sure you follow the marked line. So this ribbon is what is going to make the cinched area to be in place. So you know how to say, okay, this has expanded or it's not staying very well. Now this gross grain ribbon is not stretchy. We have a lot of them in the market. They might give you one that is stretchy. This is non-stretchy. So make sure that the one you are getting is not stretchy at all. Okay, so now we don't pin it down. Now take it to my sewing machine to sew it. So let me just explain how we're going to sew it down. Now don't forget, this area we stitch down our bony channel. So you are going to follow the same line. It's just like you are double stitching the bony line. Make sure it is very neat. Make sure it's on the line so that we don't have multiple lines on the right side of the fabric. So you just stitch down these bony lines that we have. I will take it there and bring it back too. So this is what I have after stitching it down in different places. Then the next thing we are going to do after doing this is return it to the right side. Before we join the shoulder of the yoke, we are going to use our lining to turn it. So the lining, I cut the lining the same measurement as the bodies of the dress, and I've also joined it accordingly. So this is the lining. I've joined it and I've pressed it together. Then I'm going to get the center together and make sure the lines are equal. I'm going to join it, the front to the front and the back lining to the back line. So I'll join the neckline, then I'm going to top stitch the joining to the wrong side, to the lining part, so that it will not be coming out. So I've turned the neckline with lining. So this is what I have, and the next we're going to do now is we're going to start passing the boning through the boning channel. Now we see the boning. Now you see this edge, it is rough and sharp. So if you try to push this in through your fabric, it might be stocking, it will not go through easily. So this is what you do. You just burn the edge that is going to go inside the fabric. You just burn it slightly and use your hand to smoothen it so it will have a very smooth edge. Now if you want to pass it now see the shape of the boning. It's like this. So if you want to pass it through your fabric, you are going to pass it like this inside the fabric. Now if you try to turn it over, it might be giving you another shape that I don't know. So you must pass it in the right way to get the right result. So if your boning channel is not too tight, it will go in smoothly. Okay, so it's going in smoothly. So your boning is going to stop ½ inch, 1 inch towards the hem like this. So it's going to stop 1 inch. So this is what you're going to have. So I'll just try and pass the boning all through the channels and show us the results. So I've passed the boning through the channels that we have here. So this is what it's looking like after passing the boning. It's looking somehow actually. So the next we're going to do now is we're going to give it a very good press so that the boning will be well relaxed. Yeah, so we need to press it down so that our boning will be relaxed. You see, the bust area is still standing and standing fine. If yours at this point the bust area is flat already, then you know there is a problem somewhere. So you have to trace out to know where the problem is. But if it's still standing fine and nice like this, well, you're on the right track. So let's go and press it down and see what it's going to look like. Okay, so I've pressed down the boning and it's looking relaxed. So this is what we have after pressing it. Next we're going to do now is to flip it over and add our cup to it. So this is the underbust line that I have marked. I notched it while I was sewing, so it made it easier for me to see my underbust area. So we're going to pin it down carefully and make sure there is no excess while you are pinning it down. It has to relax very well. So it's very important you pin it down before you start sewing and stitching it down. Yeah, you stitch your bra cup to the main bodies. And while you are stitching, you make sure that it's relaxed and the sewing, your thread is not so showing on the right side of the fabric. So make sure here is very relaxed while you are pinning down. So I've pinned down the first one. Let's do the same thing for the second one also. So before you stitch it, make sure you confirm that your bra cup is sitting and is relaxed very well. So this is what I will have after I sew it down with my thread and needle. So I will go and do that now and show us the results. So here now I've attached the bra cup to it and it's coming out perfectly well. See, it's coming out nice, everything is well relaxed. So the next we're going to do now is to turn in the down part with the lining. So you make sure the lines are together. It is very important that the lines are lined. So we'll do that, sew it together neatly. So the 1/2 inch allowance is what we are going to use to sew it in, to sew it together like this. So just make sure you bring the part and the lining and the fabric, you bring them together when you want to. So just bring them together like this and sew following the shape of the down part. I've turned the down parts and this is the result we have. So the next thing we're going to do now is we are going to attach our grommet bar. So I've made the grommet bar with the ones we cut. So I put stay on both sides, on the lining and also on the fabric. I turned it to the upper part and this other side. So I made 2 bony channel, and this other side is going to carry the eyelet. So this is the part we're attaching to the fabric. So if you want to attach it to the fabric like this, you bring it to the right side, on the right side of the fabric. You notice that this place I loosed it a little bit, so you're going to place it like this. Then on the fabric, you sew it on the fabric first. Then after you get to the down parts, you sew it to the fabric, then you turn it and finish it with the lining. So I'm going to do it now. Then also I will join the shoulder and I will show you the finished. I fixed the grommet bar to the center back. This is what I have, and also the modesty panel. This totally depends on you. If you want it, if you don't want it, it's not really compulsory. By the time you lace this together, the back space, the space that will be remaining at the center back will be so much. So you don't want to put the lacing, the modesty panel. It's not compulsory. So this is what we have after I fixed everything, and also I fixed this simple sleeve to it. So thank you for joining us. Please don't forget to comment, like and share this video. See you in the next videos.